sat at my streaming workstation, so that's just
I'm sat in my living room.
that's clutter.
That's fine. Right, okay. Best way to start then probably is why don't you try and introduce yourself to our readers?
I'm known as Torax Outlaw. My real name is Nathan. I'm just going to go off what I wrote earlier on my Twitch bio, which was I'm a 27-year-old full-time parent and professional game rage addict, as well as girly screamer. I don't play competitively. I play for fun. I do play games that are known to cause me to rage. That's why I've got through so many controllers over the years. So, you know, I played for the love of playing, and, you know, I started streaming on YouTube, and so people could, like, watch my reactions and laugh or get angry with me, so...
Oh, fair enough. So you deliberately wind yourself up sometimes, then?
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
I make sure that sometimes it is deliberate, so...
Fair enough, that's fair enough.
But the reactions are genuine,
yeah.
But I deliberately go into situations that I know are going to cause me to lose the plot and go completely off the rails.
I know that feeling. Right, okay. So how long have you been streaming for then, and like what initially got you into it all?
I started 4 years ago, back in 2012. Was the earliest I started recording. Didn't start streaming back then, but I was recording in 2012. I gave it up after a couple of months because of personal issues with an ex-girlfriend who didn't like me doing it.
Fair enough.
So I will fast forward back to 2015, 2016. Well, now. I've been with my current partner for 3 years, and she said, you know, if you enjoy gaming, do something with it. So I basically picked up where I left off and turned it into a full-time thing of recording and streaming. I think it's only been the past 3 months I have been streaming with my collab partner.
Yeah.
And because the chemistry that we have, it makes his streams interesting, and it makes mine interesting because he will do things to deliberately wind me up, and I'll be screaming at him from the other end of the internet as to say, no, you need to do this, you're not listening, shut your pal, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. No, it's like when I played Halo before with friends, and they deliberately walk up behind you, twat you over the back of the head, and then that's it, you die.
Yeah, he will do things where I could be in a room surrounded by enemies, not dying, just wailing everything. He will then come running in from nowhere, not heal, and be dead within 10 seconds, and rage quit himself whilst blaming me at his mistakes.
Fair enough.
It's the reason why he won't play Dota 2 anymore. He hates Dota 2. He will not play it for the sole reason that he cannot stay alive long enough to figure out where he needs to go and what he needs to do to stay alive.
That's fair enough reason then. Right, so obviously you said like you started recording back in 2012, and you're streaming more now. How would you say social media during that time's helped in order to give you a following?
When I started in 2012, I had 6 subscribers when I ended.
Yeah.
So I wasn't using social media as much as I should do as I do now. I picked it back up, I'd say about maybe 6-7 months ago when I was talking to my partner about it. And then since I've used social media, over those 6 or 7 months, I jumped from 6 to 103 subscribers on YouTube. So social media's been a big impact. Once I hit the 100, I was quite happy, I was chuffed. I'm just working on now trying to get 100 followers on Twitch to then see it build from there onwards. I think I'm up to almost at 70, so with the help of my collab partner, all the tweets I'm doing, all the retweets, all the likes, and the fact I'm helping to promote other small streamers and other small YouTubers, it's been wonderful. I think you did an interview with Jay Calls.
Yeah, we did.
I think I did a video, I've been in a couple of his streams.
Yeah.
I'm also got a character part of his wrestling universe that is literally the most messed up, inbred probably slept with his sisters, his cousins, and his mother kind of character you could ever think of. And facial-wise, he looks like that guy from the Goonies, the one that, comes in like, hey, you guys.
Yeah.
He looks like him with fairy wings and a great big brown stain on his underpants in a rather unusual place. But I think with the addition of that character and the fact that I'm on Jay's channel most days of the week when I'm free, I think it's gaining a rapport with himself and his viewers. So I gain followers from his channel, and with my collab partner, I gain followers from his channel as well.
Yeah.
And then they're passing the word on, like, oh, you should check out this guy. He's angry, he's loud, he's British. You'll love him. And it's just speedballing and just keeping that ball rolling.
Yeah. Well, going back to that character then, did you base him on anyone in particular, or?
I just said to Jay, I goes, create me a character, you've got free reign, I want him to be like the most, like, effed up thing you could think of. I want him to be, like, super fat, super short, and just, mess him up as much as you can. And we got the outcome with one of the weirdest wrestling entrances you could ever think of.
Fair enough. So what equipment is it that you use when you're streaming then?
I have a list. I have wrote it down. You will have to just bear with me.
That's fine.
Because remembering off the top of my head, I will tell everyone now that I run all of this off a laptop. So whoever says you can't do it on a laptop is talking out the backsides. So my laptop is an Asus Republic of Gamers build, GL752VW. If anybody wants to look that up, that's fine. The specs of it are, it's got a GeForce GTX 960, 2 gig graphics card, as well as its own Intel inbuilt one. 16 gigs DDR3 memory, and a i7 6700 Intel.
Okay.
It runs 8 cores at 2.6 per core. A 128 solid state hard drive and a 1 terabyte normal hard drive. So it runs everything that I need to. Yes. It does the job. I probably won't upgrade it for a while because it can run a majority of new games, full HD, full graphics, no issues. Yeah. Recording software that I use is NVIDIA's own recording software because I haven't had any issues with that. For streaming, I use OBS like everyone else does. I use Photoshop to create my thumbnails, and I use Vegas Pro to edit my YouTube videos and render them. Okay. The devices that I use on the laptop are my Samsung Go mic and my Elgato HD60S to record or to capture from my PS3, my Wii U, my Xbox One, and my Xbox 360.
Have you got a preference over PlayStation, Xbox, or?
I will never upgrade my PS3 to a PS4 for the sole reason that Sony suck. Now, there's a reason for that. Sony do not believe in backwards compatibility unless you're downloading it from their store. Yeah. Now, that's the only reason I've not upgraded my PS3 to a PS4 is because I've got about 50 or 60 odd PS3 exclusive Sony games. Yeah. That if I were to use on my PS4, I would have to repurchase them at either discount or full price, and it wouldn't just be feasible. My Xbox One is the Halo 5 Collector's Edition. That did set me back £600 on release day because I did get the Collector's Edition of Halo 5 at the time. I only bought that as a last minute decision because I found out that Xbox One are doing backwards compatibility with 360 games. So that sort of made me juxtaposition getting the upgrade from 360 to Xbone. Yeah. If it hadn't been for that last piece of information, I'd be streaming on an Xbox 360 and a PS3 still.
Fair enough. No problem. Right, so what games do you mainly play on your streams then?
Anything horror related, so people can react to my girly screaming and me cringing in fear as I try to peer around corners. Yeah. Now, explaining that one is, if I see a corner on screen, as the character's leaning around the corner, people can see me doing the same thing in real life as I'm peering around the corner with the character. So I'm trying to get a juxtaposition of looking around the corner with them so I can see if whatever's coming towards me to eat me or shoot me or which. I do play some first-person shooters, Halo 5. Battlefield 1 is hit and miss with me because I played the beta. It's one of those games that I would like to play for fun, but because everyone in there is a big competitive moron, there's a lot of people that if you're sitting there, you know, messing about with your mates and, you know, trying to, like, be idiots with one another in vehicles, everyone seems to get peed off with you because you're not playing the game, you're not conforming to what they're doing. Yeah. So I play Battlefront, which is, you know, I do tend to be quite defensive to Empire players or Rebel players, depending on which side I'm on. I do play RPGs because I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. You know, Final Fantasy VII will always be the best. It will never be beaten, regardless of what day and age we're in. Yeah.
Have you played the new one yet?
Final Fantasy 15. I've looked at it and I'm on the fence. Okay. But it does look good. I do play some MMORPGs, such as like Diablo 3, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I think there are a few others, but I can't think of them. I do play MOBAs, things like Heroes of the Storm. I play Dota 2 from time to time. I like my RTSs, things like Command & Conquer, Dark Reign. I've looked into StarCraft, and again, it's a hit and miss. Because when it comes to playing games, I play things that I enjoy, or things that I know will get me scared and make me smile afterwards, like, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal, haha. You know, it's not going to happen a second time. I'm more of an old school gamer, so things that were like Medieval 2, Croc, the very first Star Wars games where the graphics were that pixelated, and if you killed someone, they sort of disappeared into the ground or pixelated into dust. You know, things like the old Dungeon Keeper. Overlord is a fairly newish one, like going before 2010 or after 2010, I'm not sure which.
Before, I think, wasn't it? It was originally Xbox 360, first one.
Yes, it was, yes. I do recall that one now. And I play a lot of Orcs Must Die as well. I've just completed the first one. The second one, I do a bit of Unchained with my collab partner. So, my games vary. I'm one of those streamers that will go into a game, I'm like, I'm going to play this, and then if I find myself losing interest or I'm getting bored easily, I'll be like, right guys, we're going to switch to such and such. Let's keep the energy going, let's keep the motivation going.
Alright, fair enough. Do you have one particular favourite then?
One particular favourite game I do enjoy streaming has to be Diablo 3 because it is it's one of those games that is quite relaxing, but it can put you in a spectrum of being quite relaxing to making you lose your marbles and just not want to play it for weeks at a time. I think I was doing Season 8, and one of the checkpoints to completing the second chapter was to get to level 60 and knock that one and complete it. I got to level 55, got to a boss, I was like, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. Got in, the thing smacked me twice, hit me with AoE attacks, and I was done. I launched my keyboard halfway behind me, like, took out half the wall behind me, knocked all the stuff off the shelf, just literally picked up my wireless keyboard, just launched it, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. And I just said, I was on the stream, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I says, I'm going to bed, that's it, I'm done. I've spent like 15 hours doing this over 3 nights. Sod this, I was done. Quit.
Completely understandable. Talking about obviously your love for horror games and stuff as well. Did you manage to get hold of Outlast for Xbox One? The games are old.
Yes, I have got that one in my stream list for the days where my collab partner is hosting. Yeah. So on days where he's hosting and he's not about, those are the days where I go like off on my own tangent and I will stream whatever game I think will get the best reactions. So with Outlast being free this month on Gold, I was like, joy, I get to scream like a girl and run away like a massive like noob on day one or something like that.
Yeah. No, it was a pretty intense game at times, to be fair, and that wasn't even on the hard difficulty. So,
yeah, some of the scenes made you scratch your head and be like, well, if this doesn't get me banned, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is a tough one, that one. Especially when you run out of batteries on your camera and you can't see where the hell you're going.
Yep.
That's bad. If there was a favourite game that you had when you were a kid that you wish you could stream today, what would that be?
Well, most of the games that I had as favourites you can stream today, so I would always go back to like things like Medieval and Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Those would be the ones that I would love to stream, which I have got all the originals on PS1.
Yeah.
Because my PS3 is PS1 compatible, so I could literally like. I'm going to get around to it one day over the next year or so, well, in the new year, should I say, you know, to just go, right, here's Medieval, we're going to do an entire night of just playing this just for the sake of it.
Ah, fair enough. Let's see, what else have we got? So, obviously, it'd be the same for you. Growing up, you probably remember the days of collecting demo discs off the magazines and
Yes.
like the only time that you would have went online would have been to get cheat codes to get unlimited bullets.
Oh, yeah, cheat codes on dialogue.
How would you say streaming's changed gaming in recent years? Because obviously you don't really get a lot of people getting all the cheat codes nowadays. It's literally the main reason people go online is to watch others play.
Oh, pardon me. I think streaming has helped and changed the gaming scene over the years because if people get stuck on a certain level, they will either wait for a YouTuber to get to that part, so they can watch how a YouTuber figures it out, or they will wait to see if a live streamer decides one day they're going to stream that game all from like start to finish. Then they could watch that stream and go, okay, so he's going from there to there, from point A to point B. So if I do the exact same thing, I could complete the bit that I'm stuck on.
Yeah.
And then most people do that, and then they watch that bit that they need to get past the level. But some, like myself, will watch the series from start to finish just because it's something entertaining to watch. It's like my inspiration for picking up my live stream, picking up my where I left off was Markiplier, Nanas, and Jacksepticeye, because I sat and watched them like way back in the day when they were a few thousand subscribers strong. So I remember the days when you had babyface PewDiePie that, you know, just breaking out in his Italian bathroom, his kitchen or wherever it was back in the day. You know, I would watch his Let's Plays on games that I was stuck on, and then watching him stream them as well, and then watching Markiplier stream whenever they've streamed, and watching, you know, their Let's Plays. It's helped myself, and from what I've gathered on the comments, other streamers and gamers as well, progress and decide on what games to play next, because I think their opinions matter as well as game reviewers and people like yourselves. You know, reviews and YouTubers now are what make game sales now, more than anything. So if a YouTuber decides to say, like, for example, like Final Fantasy 15, for example, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying, say if like a big YouTuber like PewDiePie decided to go, this game is rubbish, don't play it. His impact would be big because people would go, well, he's saying it's not good, then why should I bother buying it? You know, it's one of those things. It's like, if I think a game is bad, I will say it's bad. But there's always a but to it. It might be a bad game to play, but there's always an upside to it. Like, story's good, or the graphics are good, or, you know, like the voice acting, and, you know, things like that make it good. So every bad game has, like, to me, has an upside. So it's like if someone's like completely panned it across the board. I'll give you an example. Which one was Eternal Crusade? Is in early access still. I was part of the Founders Program years ago. Now, a lot of people have recently bought it and completely canned it straight off, like they did with No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky was bad from the start. From what I've read, anyway, I have looked into it, and I can see where people are coming from, but they're not looking at what goes on behind the scenes. It's the same with Eternal Crusade now. There's a lot of things that Eternal Crusade developers have promised that they are putting into place, but they're doing it slowly rather than chucking everything in at once and going, there you go. It's like they don't want to give you a broken product. They want to give you something that's buggy from start, so people can go, this isn't working, this needs improving, this needs tweaking. And the developers are going, right, well, we can do this, and this. And then we'll implement this to give you a better experience. It's like at the moment they released a massive update to streamline the inventory for everybody. And they left a greyed out campaign button on the match screen to get everyone's hype going that there is a campaign that will impact different areas of the map on who's winning what and who's going where. So it's like the game's been slated before people have actually bothered to read what the company are doing and before people have read in between the lines. So it's like, for me as a founder, I just want to go up to those people that have canned it and go, listen, this is what they're doing, this is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Be patient, give them time, play the game in the meantime, and enjoy what they've given you to play with.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say.
If you've got opinions or suggestions based on that, then give it to them back. And
pass it to the developers, and they will take that on board and work with it. I think it's those developers that put the games in early access are basically giving you their life in your hands to decide whether that game makes it or breaks it.
Exactly.
You know,
listen to the community, and they give the community what they want. So slate it and not actually give them like constructive criticism, I suppose. They're not going to be able to improve the game based on that. You can't just say this game's shit. That's not playing it again. You need to say it's bad because of this, this, and this, and that way they can make the improvements to make it the game that they want it to be.
I think everything that we see today from people slating games stems from the debacle, the absolute diabolical mess that was Aliens Colonial Marines. Yeah. That's why I think Steam's changed their policies now. Is basically because they want people to see in-game screenshots, not some photoshopped artsy-fartsy stuff. Yeah. You know, the whole mess with Aliens Colonial Marines was they gave you a demo and they were like, everyone was mind blown. Pre-orders went off the walls. And then for some reason it got passed to a third-party company, and everything that we were promised visually, conceptually, and story-wise was completely thrown out the window. And we were left with the mess that is now Colonial Marines that very few people speak of or very few people play. I did a Let's Play recently after downloading a mod for it that improved it visually-wise to what we expected from the get-go, from what we were promised, and it made the game exactly as people envisioned it. But it's still buggy, it's still a work in progress. My series ended on episode 6 because the whole thing crashed and I can't get it to work. But the guy who's done the mod is one person working his socks off on several mods to visually improve like several of the games, so credit to him.
Fair enough, that's good. So obviously along with streaming as well, then esports has really taken off in recent years. Do you watch much of it, or?
Nope.
No, you don't
I
watch it.
just think it is like, fair play to the people that do it, fair play to the people that will spend days, weeks, months grinding in games to be that professional.
Yeah.
For me as an outsider looking in, it makes me think that you're sucking the fun out of the game because you're playing to win. Okay. For me, I don't see there's any fun in it at all, because you're playing to beat another team that spent days, weeks, months, years grinding on the same game, and all you're talking about is tips and strats on how to be better than the other person. There's no banter. Yeah, there's insults thrown around, but it's not banter. It's insults to be demeaning to the other team.
Yeah.
You know, there's no fun in it. There's no love. There's no banter there at all.
Right. And what do you think about like the payouts that some of them get? Because I can't remember. I think it was it the League of Legends World Championships? I think the winners of that got almost as much as someone would winning the Super Bowl in America.
Yeah, I do think if they've got the money to pay out, then, you know, fair play to them. You know, those people have spent, you know, like I said, days, weeks, months, years, however long, grinding those games to be the best at what they do. You know, the payouts are fair because it's what their job is. Their job is to be a professional gamer. That's their job. So the payout is equal to that job.
No, fair enough. And finally, just wrap things up as well then. One random question. Are you a dog or a cat person?
I've got dogs and cats, so I'm an all animal lover. I have 3 guinea pigs, 1 cat, 1 dog.
A bit of an animal sanctuary.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thanks for doing that for us anyway. Been great chatting to you. And hopefully we'll get this up, get it shared on social media, and like we want to do, start helping support small streamers like yourself.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think my collab partner's interested in doing one with yourselves as well.
That's fine.
What I'll do is, after the call's ended, I will pass you on his details and I'll get him to drop you a DM.
Yeah, no problem. That's brilliant. All right.
Thanks for your time.
No
Cheers. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.